Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The Ludwig Tarik Invitational concluding last night. Big drama going down as North America dominates the tournament at the end of the day. Gen.G giving his perspective on the situation, but also Zekin, how about his performance last night and what it means for the start of the season. Certainly with many of the new Sentinels guys in seriously good form. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate as ever. Bit of drama in the game changer scene. We saw that Team Liquid Brazil finally defeated yesterday by MIBR. Of course, there was a bit of drama on this, as there always is. People tweeting left, right, and centre. But yeah, at the end of the day, the third series of the Game Changers 2024 Brazil was won by MIBR's team. So Team Liquid have kind of dominated this region now for some time, but that came to an end yesterday. Let's quickly talk about a couple of Rostermania things. Rocket Bullets mentions his perspective on which players have trials for global esports. And there are many, according to rumours. These are all the players that have trialled for GE. Apparently no Indian players, which will be disappointing to many, and understandably so, that at least like one Indian player isn't apparently going to be here. Maybe there's some Indian player that they know is for sure going to come in, so they haven't trialled him because they know they're going to sign him. But seems kind of doubtful, unfortunately. These are the players they're looking at. Sire player is right up there and apparently is almost guaranteed. Crystal, potential player to look at, among many others. So, these are the guys they've trialled, and I don't really know how you go from this to try and find what you're going to do, to be honest. But Rocket Bullets gave his thoughts on what he would do in terms of building the roster around. There was this tweet as well. I don't know if this Frenzy guys knows anything at all, but he did say that this is what their roster is going to be. Sire player, Fox9, Blaze King, Grumble and Sultan. But then he said, well, actually, no, it's PTC instead of Blaze King. So I don't know if he's got any idea what he's talking about, to be honest. But I thought that I'd just throw it out there just to see what they decide to do, if anything. But look, I'm not going to lie. The Sire player, Fox9 duo, like, that sounds pretty good to me. I don't mind that idea at all. Fox9 I actually really rated when he was on that DRX team. They got rid of him for some reason. Quickly, on something, he is going to stay with PRX. He mentioned this in his Telegram channel. We're still unclear what's happening with PaperX, or really just what's happening with Aspas. I think that's the question for me. Like, where's this guy going, right? Is he going to stay on Lev after all, and they're going to have an absolute crazy super team that maybe he's down for? Or does he still want to leave? He doesn't like the management, whatever, and he's going to try and go elsewhere. Where would that potentially be? We still don't really know. There's not been crazy rumours around it lately. He wants to go to the Pacific, we think. PaperX could be an option, we think, but maybe that's not going to happen, and something confirms that he went back to Russia a couple of months ago, and yes, he will stay in PaperX, but he will be training on some new agents, he says. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. That's something we'll be trying to expand his agent pool, but he will be staying in the PaperX roster for next season. There was also this as well. Leah Farrier talked about a fair few things over the last couple of days, and actually said that if he could kind of start the franchising again, then maybe the format would be slightly more open. Like that, let's say you're not in franchising, maybe you could still get a chance to get through to the international championships or something. That might be a good idea. So, of course, that wouldn't be a franchise league, right? And as he describes them, even like as a potential franchise here, but really it's more like a partnership, right? As we currently understand it, which, doesn't necessarily prevent people from competing elsewhere, potentially. And that's kind of how it was before franchising, right? So it's interesting if maybe Riot are considering, what if we tweaked the format to make it slightly more how it was pre-partnerships, which, well, as Salek says, he thinks that would be a good idea, because that's what he says. The best year of VALORANT, in my opinion, was 21-22. Everyone had the same opportunities to qualify for internationals. Even with all of this, Brazil won the VCB and, of course, entered the franchises. Imagine what would have happened in these 2 years without franchising, he says. Bizarre set of decisions. There's even been other talk as well as to whether the regions will start to play matches no longer in their home cities. So, well, the point would be, especially in the Americas, whether all of the games have to happen out of LA or whether they choose another location. Because, okay, LA is like the home city of the league, but do all the games have to be played there? Not necessarily. They could be played in Texas, where it might be cheaper, or even the Brazilian teams might still be able to play out of Brazil, possibly, right? It seems kind of doubtful, but there's a possibility in the future of splitting the leagues up, I would say. So the Ludwig Tarik Invitational concluded last night, NA versus EU edition, and of course Ardis was over there playing this one, as Zellsis says, China #1. We know full well what Ardis is up to over the last couple of months, and Scream, unfortunately his team was eliminated from the tournament, but he looked pretty good doing it, so that worked out. And as he says, guys, should I go to North America? Is that going to be the plan for my next set? We'll see. It'd be nice to see Scream back in the league somewhere. Maybe it's kind of doubtful, but let's talk about about this invitational then, right? So this, I think, was the grand final. So I guess we'll just talk first of all about the semi-final. That was NA Boostio and Piggies versus the EU Rolly winners, which unfortunately for them did not win the Rollies. But yeah, this was their result. Cryo here, I will say, I think the key takeaway from this series was Cryo on the Raze. Because if you're a 100 Thieves fan, you've probably been hoping to see a little bit more versatility in your duelist. And this is why Zekken is so good. That Zekken can run the Jet, he can run the Raze, both at an incredibly high level. And you need your duelist player to be able to do that. And look, it's early days. It's effectively a show match and a small little tournament. But this 13-11 sunset from Cryo, 29-17 on the Raze, his util, like, you know, there were lots of things to like, I think, about his play this map. And it will make 100 Thieves fans pretty excited, I think, for next year that maybe, okay, you know, Cryo certainly with Boostio along for the ride as well. They've got what it takes to be a serious force. So they get the dub 13-7 and then, of course, 13-11 in the end over EU Rolly winners. And then the grand finals, Phoenix won. They go up against Boostio and the Piggies and they get the dub. So this, of course, was Zekken's team and, well, maybe not a massive surprise that Zekken just dominated the series. Such a valuable player as well. I mean, it's kind of absurd how good he is. And I don't know, like people have been speculating for some reason in recent months, oh, maybe Zekken's going to go back to college or something. I just don't really see why he would. Like, obviously he's not going to do it this season, but you know what I mean, for next season or something. So yeah, Zekken on the KO, on the Neon, just absolutely fries these guys, and that the series was over in an absolute heartbeat. This, of course, was the team that isn't too dissimilar to what the future Sen team might be looking like. Of course, Narrate was on the other side, didn't have the greatest time here, but Zekken, Reduxx, John QT, and then Marved and Derek. I mean, that was a nice team that was put together, and they win the tournament pretty comfortably, 13-5, 13-9, didn't lose a map the entire tournament they played, and yeah, NA Phoenix won, get the victory over all of their opposition. So, of course, the championship victory was not just a, you know, no prize money in the line, but they got a Rolex each, basically. So this is pretty funny, as Zekken says, 2-0 versus Team North America versus MVP, and 2 Rolexes on the wrist, one of which, of course, is upside down, pretty funny. So, you know, these Oyster Perpetuals, beautiful watches, pretty, like, considered, like, entry-level Rolexes or whatever, but, okay, let's be real, it's still spectacular, and, yeah, so now he's got 2 of them on his wrist, one of them upside down, because why not, I suppose, and the rest of the guys were in the same boat. So, yeah, thought it was nice. Of course, a great weekend for Marved as well, right? Because Marved was in all sorts of drama, as we know, the other day. Like, we even talked about it yesterday, continuing, right, what he was calling at NRG compared to Sentinels as an organization. And, you know, here he's at it again with picking up the Rolexes. So it's nice to see, because I think it was kind of a good performance for Marved, like with his team winning, kind of still proving that Marved has what it takes, like when he tries. I guess that's the point, isn't it? That people are talking about, that we know that Marved can be an incredibly good player. It's just last year on NRG it wasn't working out, and this year we're not sure what his opportunities are going to be. But even just winning this small little tournament may give him, you know, a better opportunity of getting back into the league somewhere. And of course, it's worked out rather well for him. Like, you know, with a Rolex on the line, he's going to absolutely come different. So yeah, Zellsis didn't have the greatest time, certainly because he was getting, you know, KO diffed by both the kids, as TenZ says. So, you know, Zellsis, time for you to join me, old man. And it is an interesting question, right? And Sentinels are even talking about this very openly, about the possibility of, you know, Reduxx coming in, because he is going to be their 6th man Reduxx, and it's 190 probably 1 days as of today until he turns 18, at which point Zellsis is maybe under threat. So, I mean, like, Sentinels making it pretty obvious. And I'm sure Zellsis, I'm not like he's feeling the heat exactly, but like Zellsis will know what the situation is. Like, if he isn't performing, if the team isn't doing so well or whatever, when the time comes, they will be thinking about a potential change in that position, and, you know, we'll see what time says on it. But like Marved, giving some nice words here for Reduxx, 1 Tarik, Ludwig, GG well played, first Rolex, too easy, little bro nice, and you know, of course, he also said crazy few weeks for Reduxx, right? Of course, getting on Sentinels now, and it's worked out rather well for him so far. We'll see if that can continue. Zellsis says you deserve it all, but you know, obviously people are going to speculate and read into this as to what might be happening. So John QT says 5 over the tourney, got the Rollies, GGs, what a team that they put together. And yeah, Marvtez goated IGL brother, basically. So yeah, interesting, right? Because we know that Marved maybe isn't so happy about FNS's in-game leading as of late. He certainly had some thoughts on that over the last few days, but no, he reckons that maybe with an in-game leader like John QT, Marved is still going to be in a position to do some serious damage. So wanted to share what these guys had to say on it. Of course, with NA making the finals with both teams winning the tournament, pretty obvious, what the perspective here might be.
I gotta ask, John, this is your team that you drafted.
Yeah.
You went 5-0, you didn't drop a map. Is that what you expected going in? When you drafted, were you like, oh yeah, these guys are fucking nasty?
Oh, I was smiling the whole time. The draft process,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I got this team, so yeah, I got really happy.
Do you think this proves that NA is a better region than EU?
I mean, I feel like this tournament didn't prove that. The whole year did.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Those are fighting words. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Jordan then follows up and says, just banter, of course, as a Moroccan player. Love both Americas and EMEA. Zellsis is like, come on, brother, you've got to stand up business on that one. But yeah, very much interested to your thoughts, as ever, and all this stuff in the comment section below. Zellsis is like, okay, whatever. Already got 2 rollies. Didn't need to win this one, but I'll be back again in the future. It's just been nice to see these guys in action really over the last few days. And certainly from a Sentinels perspective, their players looking pretty damn good going into the start of the new season. So good form. I think Cryo's raise was another highlight of yesterday. How much that means in terms of executing and potentially coming out on top this new season, who knows? But I'm sure that having watched this tournament over the last couple of days, fans of multiple teams will be reasonably excited about their prospects. But very much interested in your thoughts, as ever, on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.